Hello. We're back on your favorite show, TS TALKSHOP. So I'm talking to all, is it TalkShopians or TalkShoppers or whoever you are, we are back, man. This is the show that says all the time that we tell it like this and let the chips fall where the bloody hell may. And again, we say this all the time, folks. Truth crashed to earth shall rise again. And please, never get weary of hitting on the truth. Okay, and the last thing, the last promise we have made, which is gaining ground, because trust me, it's not just TSO. There are many Ghanaians out there who have now sworn, say, Jandam, ya bremo. No, I'm not kidding. So I've been following social media, and you see that when the apostles start talking, and of course they start talking their trash, because that's all the apostles know, is trash and lies. But I'm so happy to see that when they start talking and they start preaching their lies, the people say, Masa, akaho, you knew. So just to say that this promise that we shall suffocate Jandam with the truth is not just our promise. All of Ghanaians have that promise now. Power to Ghanaians, man. So and when you see the Jandams trying to lie, misinform, miseducate, all you do, not too much, just use the truth and suffocate the Jandam. We will be behind you all the time, folks. And as we say all the time, it's nation time, man. We have to build this nation. And I keep saying that we don't have a choice. We will build a nation. You watch. I mean, I'm seeing signs. They may be slow, they may be scattered, they may be doing whatever it is. Trust me, let's keep the focus, because there's too much positive energy in many Ghanaians to allow the negativity to take control over this country. This era of doom and gloom is ended. Let the positive energy arise. You know something? Quickly, I hear that the nurses have called off their strike. As a matter of fact, they say they have suspended it because I think they've given the government up to a certain time, and if that time comes and things haven't been resolved, well, it's on suspension. So let's see what happens.
Considering all that has transpired from 2nd June 2025, in relation to the pleas of the good people of Ghana, pleas from our patients, and the timely intervention of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health, the leadership of the association wishes to state as follows. The engagement held with the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health and other interested parties on Thursday, 12 June 2025, was very fruitful and has paved the way for an amicable resolution of the impasse with our employer concerning the implementation of our collective agreements. 2. In view of point 1 above, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association's industrial action initiated on 2nd June 2025 is hereby suspended, pending the outcome of the follow-up meeting scheduled for 26 June 2025. 3. We call on our dear nurses and midwives to resume their normal shift duties from Saturday, 14th June 2025.
Yeah, so there we go. Let's see what happens. But let me tell you a quick story about this strike. Today, my focus is on the root. And that's what we're going to be talking about. The root. But before then, let me do a quick thing about the nurses' strike, folks. I got a call from a friend of mine whose friend says his wife, listen to this, the friend's wife is related to a nurse. Now check this out. Evidently something happened with the health of the wife. Something was not quite right with the with the health of the wife. So the wife called her friend, who is a nurse, and explained what is going on with her, hoping that the nurse will give her some, at least first aid advice on what to do. But you know what happened? The nurse who she called and who was on strike and couldn't do anything to help her actually listened to the friend and said, from what you're describing, I think you should go to the hospital. This is the nurse who recommending to a friend, I think you should go to the hospital. And what hospital did she recommend? She says, oh, go to UGMC. They are not on strike. Folks, think about this. The nurse who is on strike, who, as their leaders say, they are going to do whatever it takes to get their demands until they won't work. They won't work. Her friend is sick, and she realizes that she cannot prescribe anything for the friend in the state that the friend was. So she tells the friends, go to UGMC. Why? Because there the nurses are not on strike. They'll take care of you. You know, when you think about this, then you realize why some of us are so upset with this decision that people can die because we want our demands. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because they say they'll come back to work and do whatever. But media, just think about it all. Somebody who has sworn that I won't go to work, let them die. You, however, in the same breath, refer your friend to go to UGMC because you'll get help there because the nurses are working. No more comment. Over to you, folks. Now, today, I have not come to talk about the nurses. They say they are working until whenever. But in the meantime, the assistant PRO, I think his name is Philemon Japan. I apologize to Ghanaians for the unfortunate situation that might have caused some deaths. I apologize to Ghanaians for the unfortunate situation that might have caused some deaths. Might have, unfortunate situation. Anyway, one person was lucky she was referred to go to UGMC, so maybe her life was saved. So folks, now let's move on. As for the nurses, whatever you want to do, we are here. But so folks, you know something? The loot, and I said it time and time again on this program, that for me, from where I sit, I think the major reason Mahama came back to power was to promise Ghanaians that, listen, when I come, I'm going to recover all the loot.
We'll launch an operation Recover All the Loot to investigate, prosecute, and recover the proceeds of corruption. To investigate, prosecute, and recover the proceeds of corruption, no person found culpable will be spared.
And trust me, I think he himself knows that that was his magic card. People said, you're willing to recover the loot, then we shall put you back in power. So he himself is very, very much aware, you know. So right now, let's have a quick referendum. All those in favor of the recovery of the loot, say aye. Do I hear all of Ghanaians say aye? And all those who are not in favor of recovering the loot, say nay. People actually had the confidence and the boldness to have a press conference to say that if anybody from our side is called, don't show.
And so if you are a former government official and you're invited by this so-called Ora, advice to you from the minority is to boycott any invitation from the Ora team. We are not going to be part of it.
The nerve, the hypocrisy. Look, Ghanaians, let's be serious here. Let's be very, very serious. Look at the kinds of loots that are being recorded all over the place. The NSS alone, there are 3 alleged culprits. I think it's Mustafa Yusuf, the former sports minister, Osei Asibe, who is an executive at the NSS, and Gifty Owari. who is the boss. And between the three of them, folks, I'll keep saying allegedly. Law assembly, I keep saying allegedly. Between the three of them, over 540 million embezzled. And this was done because they had created all these multiple ghost names and put them on the payroll and had set up certain accounts and certain bank accounts here where they would divert cash supposed to be paid to certain workers of the NSS that were on payroll, allegedly. 548 million. I just want you to imagine this, folks. I just want you to imagine this. You know, the cry and the appeal was for 4 more years. We are breaking the 8. So all I'm saying is this: imagine if that cry had succeeded, and imagine if they had been able to break the 8, and if the 3 people had 4 more years. Can you imagine the staggering numbers of cedis that would have been diverted through loot for 4 more years? Sorry, I think the figure was 548 million. So is this 3 alleged figures, and there are some 9 others. So just imagine that no change had come and we had continued under the same agenda. Can you imagine how much more loot was awaiting this country? And folks, let's start developing conscience as individuals. Because as individuals, when we have conscience collectively, it becomes the conscience of the nation. Okay? So I'm saying this because if somebody has no conscience at all, to be able to have a press conference and say the loot was okay. Yeah, loot or yeah, loot. That's what you were saying. When they call you for the loot, don't go anywhere. It's an abuse of your rights.
And so if you are a former government official and you're invited by this so-called Ora, advice to you from the minority is to boycott any invitation from the Ora team. We are not going to be part of it.
Folks, does this make sense? I'm trying to paint a picture here that where we are at in our national development, which we want to build the nation, there are certain things, without thinking, you must support. And I'm expecting that every single intelligent, I mean qualified with intelligent, because there are many who say they don't support it. They loot, we don't support it.
I condemn in no uncertain terms the establishment of a so-called committee called ORA. I hold a humble view that it is a needless committee. It has no constitutional backing, and this committee is only in for personal vendetta. If we allow this committee to continue with its so-called wild goose chase, it will disturb the governance of this country.
Unconstitutional establishment and putting together of people who go about harassing former government officials. We believe that the establishment of that oral committee violates and flies in the face of our constitution. And we want the people of Ghana to know that no serious country will entertain anything such as this.
They are not the intelligent ones I'm talking about. We are at the point where I think every single intelligent person should give his or her backing to this cause. Actually, let's recover the loot. The amount of money as a nation we have lost through the loot is somewhere in excess of $20 billion. Somewhat else here. And let me at this point also express my frustration with the law. Because there's something called the due process of the law. which I understand. If something happens to me and I'm arrested, I would be happy to go through the due process of the law. But when it seems that the due process of the law is so slow, people get frustrated. You know, in Oliver Twist, there was a quotation in Oliver Twist that says, "The law is an ass." Oliver Twist, the law is an ass, which simply means that the law can be frustrating, but the law is the law. The law is the law. So all I can do is that, Charlie, I know the law is frustrating, but the same frustrating law was when the former president Kufuor decided I'm going to have something called fast track. Using the same law, but they become a fast track. and this loot thing, if you imagine the numbers that we are talking about, folks, the numbers are staggering. And it's sad when you realize that as a nation, we go to the IMF to beg and to borrow. And at the same time as we are begging and borrowing, people are looting. Isn't that sad? People are looting. There's one extra CD that was put on the fuel that caused a fury. Well, it has been suspended now until whatever happens. But imagine this. If you can recover the loot, man, some of these taxes will not even be necessary. Because we have stolen so much. Look at just 3 people. Well, 3 people, allegedly, plus some other accomplices. Look at what happened at the Signals Bureau of the NIB, Dubuahin, allegedly, alone. So just take these 2. I'm talking about the National Service Secretariat loot and the loot from the National Signals Bureau. Imagine this, folks. Just the 2, if we retrieve them. So, folks, this thing about retrieving the loot is very, very serious. What is good for Ghana, what we are benefiting from now, is thankfully how the currency has appreciated and is doing very, very well. How fuel prices have come down dramatically and is doing well. Prices of goods and services are generally coming down. So we're having a breath of reprieve in the nation. You know, and because you're having that breath of reprieve, that is what is making up for the fact that you don't see the frustration about the slowness of the recovery of the loot. I'm telling you, if right about now, the dollar was still hanging where it was and people were still buying high prices and everywhere you turn around, life has become stagger, you would have seen how frustrated people would have become and would have been in the streets said, Charlie, let's recover the loot. We are suffering. But fortunately, we are not suffering and feeling that much of a pressure because there's been breaks in the system. There's been reliefs and everybody is experiencing this and is thankful that change has come and there are reliefs. And that is what is holding the fort too. But I'm saying this, AG. Yeah, we thank God that we are in a direction where people are feeling reliefs. But see what you can do, man, to fast track this looting recovery. Pacho, fast track this looting recovery. I'm not a lawyer, so you can, but please. If you have the evidence and you have the materials and you have everything that suggests say looting akoso, and you have the evidence to show say looting akoso, then I don't understand the law maybe. What is holding you? I don't know. We have to be seen, said Charlie. This recovery of the loot is dynamically moving and people are really under pressure. By the way, this is just by the side. I hear that after everything aside, there are so many people, suspects or people who are indulged in it, allegedly, who have gone to the NIB to say I report myself, and I'm ready to surrender this amount of money. I hear there's a whole bunch of people who are doing that. quietly. So I hear that quietly the NIB is seeing people, public servants, maybe old politicians who know that eventually the law will catch up with them, who are there trying to negotiate quietly to make sure. If that is going on, as I've heard, allegedly, then I'm glad that these things are going on. But those are the smaller ones under the table that possibly will not even see the light of day in the newspapers. But those that we know. And there are many. You got over 2,000 plus complaints from people.
In total, the number of complaints received amounts to 2,417. So those who had any doubt about how relevant and how timely the president's intervention was at the time, this is your evidence. 2,417 complaints received. 36 cases that we have reviewed in detail. If we are successful in recoveries, we can retrieve as much as 20.49 billion United States dollars. 20.49 billion United States dollars. We've also done an estimate of the state capture, the lands. If we successfully ask people to pay conservative market value for the lands they have looted, again, the experts are telling us that we can recover about 702.8 million United States dollars. Summary, the 36 cases, the high amount cases that we put together, and then the land loot, potentially we can raise about 21.19 billion United States dollars. And that is far more than what we have been chasing the IMF for and subjecting ourselves to all kinds of conditionalities.
Let's see something. In spite of all the gains we are seeing, please, people are getting frustrated. Actually, let's get the work going. And we all know, His Excellency has come and said that in the bid to recover the loot, nobody's going to be shielded, including his own people.
In the last election, and we came up strongly and said that if we won the election, we were going to take up the fight against corruption and the issue of accountability of public officers. We're going to take it up very strongly. And so it was a commitment we made to the people of Ghana. And we launched a program called Operation Recover All the Loot. It was a very popular program with Ghanaians, and anywhere you speak and you mention oral, the applause and the response you get was very overwhelming. So it shows that it's an issue that Ghanaians are very concerned about. One of the major problems that was affecting our fight against corruption was political interference. The anti-corruption agencies were not allowed to do their duty without being interfered with by the political elite. I have told the public and assured my Attorney General and Minister of Justice that I'm not going to interfere in their work, and that if the anti-corruption agencies go after anybody, I'm not going to try and influence them to drop any investigation against anybody, both for those who served in the previous regime, many cases of which we are currently investigating. We set up the oral committee. It identified 33 cases, and it was handed over to the Attorney General, and he's created special investigative teams to investigate each of them. Some of them, they have found a lot of evidence of, procurement of properties, with illicit wealth and all that.
Nobody's going to be shielded though, because we are not talking about any personal loot now. We are talking about loot that has affected the nation as a whole. We were here when my good friend Mustafa Hamid, doctor, here he is now. Remember his passionate talk about how Ghana was sinking, how the presidency was depraved and had been muddied. Listen to him again.
This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi, inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
And I like how you ended, man. Inshallah, we shall rescue this country. And it's very, very true. We shall rescue this country. But my dear friend, you too, allegedly, I think it was in excess of 1.3 billion Ghana cedis of loot at the NPA. 1.3 billion. Inshallah. Inshallah. I'm crying now. We shall rescue this country. So no, folks, today I just wanted to do a quick one that recovering of the loot can actually, you can use another way to describe recovery of the loot, and that was simply be rebuilding this country. Because if we recover the loot, that just implies actually we are building this country. So I just wanted to do this quick one on the loot. And this is just an introductory one because there's more coming. Folks, let me end on this because I always want to end on this positive thing. Charlie, we know what we have as a country. And I'm glad that after everything we've gone through, a leader has come and said we need to reset Ghana.
Today should mark the beginning of a new opportunity. An opportunity for us to make a difference in our governance and our economic management. We shall reset our dear nation, Ghana.
That's the part that me tear around my bottom. Because honestly, those who know me, not those who just have known me for the last few months or so, know me from over 20 years. To say one of the major concerns I have was that as a country, we need to reset our minds and reset the nation. And I've been talking about this for 30 years and over. Yes, maybe nothing comes easy. They say everything takes much longer than you expect, but you have to keep the building and keep the focus and move on. So yes, when a leader comes and he says, I am going to reset, and I've said this often, everything we have as a nation, not me, not me, not NDC supporters, no, I'm talking about as a nation. This is the time that we all can say, Charlie, we have seen that something is moving in the right direction. Let us all back it to make sure that we raise this country. Because trust me, if we continue in this direction, people from different parts of the world will hear about, hey, they say some one Ghana be in West Africa. They say one Ghana. People will hear. Say, Charlie, what is happening here is not a fluke. It's not a fluke. Look, when it comes to people's anger and retrieving things, I'll do an episode on that for you to understand what I'm saying. It's not the first time people are saying, let us retrieve our loot. We have seen it before. We saw JJ talking about the house cleaning. That's how he called it. I'm going to clean the house. You know, we went through all of that. We saw 3 former heads of states shot at the firing squad, all in the name of cleaning the house and fighting corruption. We've seen all of that. We saw President Kufuor come and also punish people that he said were causing financial loss. We saw our own Chikata sent into prison on alleged charges of financial loss. I'm saying alleged because later on he disproved it. We saw our own former finance minister, Salome. I think he died in jail. At one point during his trial, he was on oxygen, either in the court or in the prison. We saw that. So I'm saying this is not the first time this nation has seen somebody coming and say we are cleaning house. So what is different about recovering the loot? And why does that give me a level of confidence that is beyond what we have seen before in our history? That'll be another show when I'll take my time to explain why I think that this recovery of the loot is a foundation that has been set for resetting that we shouldn't joke with, and that we shouldn't allow steam to be lost. We can't lose the steam. That's why I'm appealing to the AG, Kanhoshi Kakra, Fajatum. Please. You know, every time, what's his name? OSP. Press conferences, this, press conferences, that. Unless you don't have the evidence. Unless you don't have the evidence. But if you have the evidence that you have at least gathered, move. Charlie? So much money has been looted. If you try them and they are innocent, fine. Then let them go. Let all Ghanaians know that, oh, Charlie, you thought they had stolen money, but they hadn't. Then we understand. And if in fact they have stolen money, as we know allegedly, then jail them. Recover everything that you can. We are seeing everything. What is missing there? Noise, no? We want to hear that so much billions have been recovered from this person, or this amount of money has been recovered from this person and is going to go straight into this. Now, Ghana for us will start breathing the air that in addition to the value of the CD improving, in addition to prices declining, in addition to everything good, in addition to that, criminals, and that's what they are, criminals have been tried and criminals are making payments. Stop. I don't know what the word is. Stop treating criminals with kid gloves. Say, oh, and yet here in the door, and almost as if you're apologizing for the criminals. Please don't show any mercy on any criminal. They have looted this country. The country is bleeding. This country is in debt. This country is on the doorstep of white people begging them. When in the meantime, people have stolen and looted blocks of money from us. And the evidence is all over. So, AG, me lawyer. So you can say, oh, KSM, you don't understand the law. So maybe that's okay, me lawyer. But whatever is within the law that can make you speed up, that can make Ghanaians understand that, okay, now we know there's been action. Folks, I'm going to call it a day on this one. But trust me, we're back with other versions. Because this looting Operation Recover All the Loot, we won't give it any chance to even simmer down. Let's do it. In addition to whatever else is happening. Because it is a sign. It is a sign. And later on, I come back and tell you why I think that this recovery thing is different from any other we have experienced. Because I know and I can feel it. Ghana shall rise again.